there we go. That lifts my spirits every time I hear it. The Get Out and Grow theme tune. Happy Homesteaders here at 6:15 every Monday evening on Expat Portugal. And the head gardener's here, and John and Anna over there in the UK. How's everyone doing? Let's go to you first. DJ Antics, a.k.a. Anna.
Yeah, doing good. It's been yes, I've pretty much been on the go every single weekend this month. In fact, it would have been this weekend as well, except I've found out today there's been a little bit of a change of plan because of a social getting cancelled. So yeah, I've actually got a weekend off this week because I went to Wiltshire to see family on Sunday, and watched a bit of sport, and working as always, and just keeping really busy at the moment, but all going well.
Very good. And isn't it amazing how from being locked down and stuck indoors for pretty much 2 years, you're like busy every moment of the day now by the sound of it. So a well-earned weekend off. Enjoy it if you can.
Might be doing a bit of gaming as well. So I treated myself to a couple of console games as well because my cousin gave me his console at Christmas, so I ended up getting 2 games today because I've literally been playing FIFA because it's the only game I've got until today. So I'll be.
What platform are we talking about there?
This one is an Xbox. So yes.
See, I want to find out if there are any games that are plant-based, not as in are made out of plants, but I mean as in, forest garden, permaculture, garden plots and that sort of thing. Sim City, a horticultural Sim City would be quite an amazing game, wouldn't it? It might encourage kids to get out in the garden. Head gardener, is there such a thing on the market?
There is. There is garden design simulation games.
Okay.
I've never played one. I've seen them. I've seen them in the magazines.
You're too busy.
A few reviews on them, but it's not my cup of tea.
Can you press a button to see how quickly it gets overgrown with nettles and that sort of thing?
I imagine that's what happens. Or you do a nice game, the mold comes in and destroys it all for you. Something like that.
What fun. How are you this week?
Yeah, it's good. Been a good start to the week. Good weekend. Yeah.
And inside again, we're so unused to not seeing you surrounded
I'm going to start hiding behind me.
Yeah, that's better. That's much more comfortable. That's a beautiful plant, which we've admired before. So thank you, head gardener. Thank you, Anna. John Agate, how are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm good. When you were behind that plant, then Lee, you looked like you were in the jungle or something, like in one of those jungle films. But yeah, no, I've had a fairly decent weekend because my sister was down from Bath, so we went out to Dartmouth on what day was that? Saturday, and then went to Teignmouth on Sunday. And I watched the Grand Prix on Sunday as well. That was a pretty decent race. And yeah, today was slightly frustrating because I have the job centre are making me do this job finding, improving your CV, improving your ability to get jobs course, and that's a pain in the arse, to be honest. But yeah.
Lovely, delightful English turn of phrase for our American guests this evening who are tuned in. And are you looking for work then, John? If anybody has a position or an opportunity, should they?
I'm applying for lots of things, but I'm not really getting anywhere, unfortunately. So hopefully this course will help. But
yeah, but I think sometimes they can be a bit patronising, can't they? So if you can see that John is a fine, intelligent fellow, and if you've got some work that you think might suit the cut of his jib, send us an email, carl@expatsportugal.com, or PM John with any job offers. That's the same for all of us, actually, I think, isn't it? All offers, all interesting offers considered. Not for Lee. He's too busy at the moment, and isn't that a great thing? So quite a few things to be thinking about tonight. We'll say hello to everybody in just a moment, but we want to talk about soil because there's been an amazing event launch over the last couple of days where an Indian guru by the name of Sadhguru is motorbiking 30,000 kilometers around the globe, around the planet, to raise awareness of the desperate need for us to look after and rebuild our soil. So I'd love to say a bit more about that today. We have Garvo as well. Garvo's got a couple of interesting inputs for the show. It's probably quite a good choice of word, that. He would like to launch a little contest to find the world's most strange fruit on Get Out and Grow. Here is my opening bid, he says, and he sent in a picture which he first saw on the Seychelles. I think it's a hands down winner, a pants down winner by the look of it. I found out about these when I was on my honeymoon, strangely enough, so we might have a look at that, we might not. And also something else that he sent in is this, which we should perhaps consider. There must be many people around Portugal, he says, who have land that they can no longer maintain. I think it's time to start a conversation on how we could all benefit from helping with this problem. And I said I would mention it tonight. So leasing land, sharing land. And of course, I have just started a community garden group for San Martino de Porto, where I lived. After seeing an article about food shortages, I just thought to myself, this is insanity. There is no food problem. There's a distribution problem, possibility. Probably and very likely, and there's a sanity problem, most definitely. But food grows miraculously on trees, and that's why we do this program every week, isn't it, Lee? I mean, this must occur to you all the time when you're growing food and eating the food that you've grown, that there could possibly be a food shortage in this country of all countries.
I think more than anything, it's an education shortage.
Yes, well said.
A lot of the stuff I enjoyed back in the UK was working with the schools to develop very small, very basic veg gardens. But it was the start of an education for a lot of children that don't have that opportunity at home.
Yeah.
And if you can see your local environment being changed into somewhere that provides food for you, you also respect it a little bit more. So
yeah. Okay, so education problem. So we'll do our best tonight to put in a little bit of education about the soil, which is really an emergency, isn't it? I know it's basically bumped water shortages. John, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just I totally agree with that. It's an educational issue because when I was at school, quite a while ago now, really. But, since I have been at school since like 2006 or something. But anyway, I never ever had any gardening person. We never went on any trips or anything to do with gardening, or we never had any like local gardeners come in and do a talk or anything like that. It was kind of one of those things that, looking back now, I didn't really think about it when I was at school because I was just trying to survive, really, in a system that wasn't designed for me because it wasn't.
Me too, John. Me too.
Me as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, the point is, I now looking back at it, I kind of think, well, why the hell was there never anybody that came in, or why the hell did we never go on any trips about that were to do with gardening, given that I spent my entire childhood in Devon, where there's a lot of nice gardens in not just in people's houses or outside of people's houses. You can't have a garden well, you can have houseplants, but my point is there's a lot of gardens because whether it's like stately homes or botanical gardens like the one at Sholden or just general gardens in
and Dartington,
you've got Dartington's Devon is a place where there's loads of it, and you just think, why did the educational system not take advantage of that at the time? And I mean, I don't know whether it's different now, but
I think when I left working for the government, it really depended on the headmistress or the head teacher to get the ball going. But the funding was there for it, the money was available, and the kids loved it.
Yeah,
we never produced masses of fruit and veg. It was never, but it was a great start to encourage people to see how it works.
Yes.
It's
there we are at school, and we are human beings, and we need to eat, and we need to learn how to be happy. but we'll do trigonometry instead, shall we? And calculus. Yeah. Okay, so probably enough said about that for the time being. It is an education problem. Evening all. Clocks change Saturday, Sunday overnight. Longer, brighter days. Digo is so looking forward to this, to get outside. Sadly, March, again, very dry, only 2 inches off rainfall. We're in a mini drought over there in Belfast as well as here, mate, even though it's been very wet in the last couple of weeks, which has been great in Portugal. But mini drought there in Northern Ireland, most living here don't know it yet. And that's the interesting thing, isn't it? Yeah, because we're disconnected from the food, the land, and we don't know if it's a drought or not. And people just look at the rain on their windows and their cars and think, oh, we're okay, which hides a bigger picture. And it's the same for soil, which we'll look at as well tonight. I've only a quarter full kitchen, of a 90-litre bin of rainwater. Usually I would have 2 full bins by now. And I think we've even got a picture of that. There we go. You'd have usually 2 of those full and just a quarter full on that one. And we've got a video from the garden as well. Nice planting, by the way. Cucumber planted yesterday. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? Lovely to see people's planting. Do send your pictures in. 913-590-303. And Catherine's here as well. She's got a lovely garden. Absolutely beautiful. Hey, Kate, how are you? Bonnet, Carl, and everyone. Baldylocks in California. How do you stop onions? First question in for the evening. I'm going to let you ask this, Anna, because you are the question meister, mistress, whatever you might call yourself.
Yes. How do you stop onions from blooming prematurely? And I've tried different varieties and keep running into the same problem.
It can be a combination of things. Variety is a big part of it. Getting the right variety for your area, for your temperature. But the other one is keeping them in shade and keeping them well fed. As soon as the plant passes over, when it's got to the point where it's starting to struggle to survive, that's when it bolts with its new flower head or its seed head. So keeping it well fed, keeping the soil clean of weeds, and keeping it well watered. Because any real sort of stress is what encourages it to bolt.
Brilliant. Okay, nice and easy. Yeah, thank you very much for that. So yeah, not direct sunshine that will make them grow and keep them well fed as well. Thank you for that, Lee. Yes, thank you. This is for you, John, isn't it? I think, to reiterate.
If you forgot to let Anna know about your question, or I don't know which way around this was for Baldylocks, when he forgot to let Anna know, or he's only just thought of his question. But if you forgot to let Anna know about your question, or have only just thought of one, let us know in the comments.
Very good. Suzanne, hello, gardeners from Washington, D.C. What do you like growing, Suzanne? And what do you hope to grow when you get to Portugal? Do let us know in the comments. Benoit, thankfully, very wet one over here in central Portugal, and the weather's quite rainy too, I think. Hold on a minute. Before I read the rest of that out, he gets one of these, I'm afraid. You're not going to get that past us.
Warning. Warning.
Oh, no! Yes, dad joke alert coming up, everybody. We're all partial to these here. You can see people are smiling already. Pete Bleach, mushroom hunting, central Portugal, helps me be a fun guy. Who would like to groan first with that? Thank you, Pete. Boa tarde. Carla Torres from Moas in New York. So Washington, New York, and California tonight. Fantastic. Mark in Norfolk in the UK, probably. May or may not be. Boa tarde, Torres as well. Keen Gardener. And hi, Moaz from the OLP is here as well. Always a regular. Moaz, John, good luck with your search for work, mate. Isn't that nice? And Jason's here as well. Evening, guys. Now we're going to find out more about the project's called Quinta Essencial, isn't it, Lee?
Yes. Yeah.
And we're going to hit. I'm hoping we're going to hear loads more about that as spring and summer comes our way, and we'll do all we can to share what Jason's doing over there. And his lovely partner, and they are doing an amazing job over there. The pictures are fantastic already. And I just think it's going to be an amazing educational project for everybody else if Jason chooses it to be so. So, Jason, we're an open door for your video and photos. Yes, John, go on, mate.
Just going back to that thing where we were just talking briefly about people don't know what a drought is, particularly. I actually think, certainly in the UK at least, that's to do with the media or the tabloids, because whenever there's like a week or so of hot sunny weather in the UK, it's it's gonna be a hosepipe ban, and it's a drought, and whoa, and all these sorts of big shouty headlines.
John just turned Cockney all of a sudden.
Yeah, what's
and
that?
I think people get fed up with it. And also, because people get fed up with it, they don't actually actively look into what a drought is and try and research what that actually means, because they get overwhelmed and they can't take it anymore.
True. Well said, John. Yeah, our attention span is like end of the day, end of the week, end of the month, isn't it? Or maybe a 5-year plan if you're a real visionary in these times. But if you have 7-generation thinking, which some other cultures are thought to have, you might think about how much water and soil, how good the soil is, and how much water you have available to you. I was thinking about this earlier on. You know, the fact that we rely on private companies to deliver water through our taps and let the rain come off our roofs into the ground is quite precarious. Again, probably an education problem, and we'll talk about that more over the coming weeks, of course. Garvo's here, so we may have to launch his idea tonight for the planet's strangest fruit or vegetable. Thank you, Gary. Actually, I'm going to show the picture right now of Gary's entry. And I use the words advisedly here. Stop giggling already, you lot. So there it is. There's the strangest fruit nomination from Garvo funnily enough, in Alvagra in central Portugal. That is the Coco de Mer, I believe. Yes, Coco de Mer. There's the sea coconut, I suppose, isn't it? I think that probably wins the competition. There's no need for anyone to send anything stranger in than that, but you can try if you like. Thank you, Gary. Go on.
I know a few.
Thought you might. Okay, let's keep that open then. Boutard from Sharon H. Sharon, thank you for being here tonight as well. That's fantastic. Sharon H is just here in Portugal from Sintra. Congratulations to you. What a beautiful part of Portugal. Yay! I'm interested in hanging a bird feeder in a large tree outside my kitchen. Am I trying to figure out where to buy I am trying to figure out where to buy a quality bird feeder. And you can see, yes, he's shaking his head. He's shaking his head already. Why are you doing that, Lee?
They're not interested. It's not like in England, in the States. The birds just aren't interested in the feed.
They're not, are they?
The only way to encourage birds into your garden here in Portugal is to make it bird friendly and let them come themselves.
Yeah.
Make it more of a natural bird feeding station rather than an artificial one.
Yeah.
And bird boxes work quite well here. There's lots of
he's frozen. Unless he's pranking us. Do you think he's pranking us, John and Anna?
I'm not too sure, but you said you had a question that you got sent in as well, Anna. So, he's returned.
We lost you there, Lee. You froze up.
Anna, I don't know if you want to. It was a question to do with roses, wasn't it? That you had that I saw on you said on the Facebook page.
Quite a few more things, but yes, we've got a question from one of our new members, from Diane. I don't actually know the location for the group member, but they were wondering is there an ultimate cure for black spot on roses? I cannot keep up taking leaves off, and it ruins my garden.
Yeah, it's very similar to the previous question, with a little bit of a diversion. Making sure your roses are healthy to start with is a big plus. Plenty of feed, correct pruning at the correct time of year, and then using a very light washing up liquid water mix to spray them with regular. I mean, it has to be for 5 or 6 weeks every week. You have to give them a spray, give them a clean, and that'll sort it out. But start with the soil. Get the soil right first, and then start the spray to clean the leaves.
Great stuff. Did you have more to say about
Portugal?
Okay, thank you for that on roses and the earlier onion question and the birds. Then, did you want to finish off on that, Lee? Basically, what you're saying is not worth it, is it? Trying to feed them because they won't come. They've got so much going on anyway.
I've shown you before. We bought the bird feeder from England. It's in the garden there, and they don't bother with it. But if I turn the soil over even slightly, they're in on it and feeding away for hours and hours.
Yes.
So more of a natural garden where they get natural food. And and maybe a nesting station if you want to encourage them into the garden properly.
Okay,
and just planting more with birds in mind.
Yep, good idea.
Small low shrubs, small hedges. They love that sort of stuff.
Brilliant. Okay, and I was with Gary the other day, and we were sat in a cafe, and he said if this is England, this place would be just full of twitchers trying to see the bird that was picking up the crumbs beneath the table, a black redstart.
Nice.
Here in Portugal, right by our feet. Happy to be around people, no problem at all. And Sharon, Anna, if you ask her nicely, we'll show you pictures of the woodpecker that visits her feeding table, along with the squirrels, I think, as well. But Anna has some great woodpecker pictures. Much easier, I think, in parts of the US and in the UK to get birds to a feeding table. But you might be wasting your time here, as Lee said. Hold on a minute. Deagle's saying, soil, I heard. Oh, sorry, go on. Let me just put you on a solo pic there. There you go, especially for Sharon. There's, is that a squirrel or a woodpecker? Hold it steady.
Squirrel.
Oh, it's a squirrel, isn't it? Naughty squirrel destroying the feeding table there, probably. There you go. And if you've got a woodpecker one, Anna, that would be great to see as well. So I heard the Sahara sand dust is actually good for the soil, giving rich nutrition to the land. Is this correct? Yeah. Is that correct? Yes, this is what that's what it was like, wasn't it? We were quite scared for a day or two. That was Alcobaça last week. So you're happy with the Saharan sand?
Well, I don't know if you remember going back last year when I was top dressing my lawn. I was technically doing that. I was putting lots of fresh sand down to help with drainage and to help with fertilisation and to reduce the moss in the lawn. So it's a natural way of doing it, and that's been going on for millennia. So
and some good minerals in there, I heard as well. Phosphorus, possibly. Yeah. Okay. So while we were all scared and cursing the fact that the cars had been covered in sand and dust,
it was amazing.
Yes, it was a victory for the environment there, of which we're a part. And this is part of the problem in it, is separating ourselves from the environment, of course, which we've very adequately done. Yes, Deagle, perfectly natural occurrence for the whole of Europe, but a pain to get off your solar. Oh. How did you do that in the end? Did you have to jet wash it off your solar panels there, Pete? Yes, because that would really impede your charging, wouldn't it? Of course. Brian's in as well. Good evening, Brian. How are you? I don't understand why schools don't have massive veg gardens linked to education, then serve the produce in school meals. I mean, it's that sort of idea where you think, he's absolutely right. Why doesn't that happen? It's ridiculous, isn't it?
The only one we really had success was in Todmorden, where they turned half of the unused school grounds into veg gardens that the elderly community came in and maintained with the children.
Another great idea.
Because the older people have got time on their hands.
Yes.
The kids weren't taking too much time out of class, and it actually became a successful small food market for the school. You know, it made enough to put something on the table every day.
Amazing. Circle of life for the oldies involved as well. That's beautiful. And of course, a lot of, I think, a lot of open parents there, right? Because we're talking about Rainbow Valley, aren't we, up there with a lot of horticulturally inclined parents, I think.
It was a great place to work, yeah. So people really open to stupid ideas that I come up with.
Hey! All right, but Todos from Paul, Louise Lottie. It's Louise, actually, who's here tonight. Great to have you, Louise. And still in Portugal, says Mark, back to Norfolk tomorrow. It's been, I'm not happy about it. So good to see you recently, Mark. And Suzanne, I'm in a transitional phase. Left all my beloved roses, herbs, and bulbs behind in Pittsburgh last month. Staying at a friend's house and will only buy a few pots of herbs for cooking this summer. Better than nothing, really, truly better than nothing, isn't it? Even just a few pots of herbs that you can use in your own cooking is deeply satisfying, isn't it? Thunderduck here. We're doing a music radio show with him at 7:30 this evening. So watch out for that as well. See you later, mate. Thanks for being here now. I've never grown fruit, but bought a blackberry bush, almost a dry stick, no shoots. Had it in the greenhouse all winter. It's not shooting. Any good tips? Should he throw it away?
Compost it and go buy a new one. Or buy two.
Bad news, right? Okay. Well, it's done for, is it?
No, it should just be starting to shoot now. It should just be starting to bud up now. So take a small knife and just very gently cut into halfway up the stem, very gently. And if you feel any fresh green growth, leave it, it'll be fine. If it's just wood, it's dead. If it's just dark, woody, it's dead.
There you go.
But you should always buy two when it comes to fruit bushes.
Yes. Okay. Good tip. Good tip. What for cross pollination?
Yeah.
All right. Stop onions from bolting. Consistent watering. Most plants produce flowers if they're under stress. Isn't that a lovely thing in a strange sort of way? There's the irony of nature. It's struggling and then gives you a flower. How amazing is that?
If you keep it happy, the bulb grows bigger. As soon as
Wow.
it starts to get stressed, it bolts, and it's doing its job. It feels like it's got to the end of its lifespan, and it shoots its seeds out. It shoots up with a bolt and a head of flower.
Wow.
Just doing its job. Yeah.
Gary comes to mind for some reason. Oh, I'm developing so many food sensitivities. I may need more than a patio from my retirement home. As a Cali girl, I definitely know what a drought is. It seems like Portugal gets more rain. Yeah, it's all relative, isn't it? Carl, thank you, NewbieNet, for that. And thanks for being here tonight. Carl, can you share the problem and pictures so I can get some recipe ideas? What does he... Is that a reference to Garvo's picture as well? You just never know with Pete, do you? Aviva is here as well. Bon dia from New Mexico. I need to learn sprouting and maybe plan a window box garden. We live in New Mexico. Catch out rain. Rain in barrels. It's a good idea, isn't it? Catch it while it's there and don't rely on private companies, perhaps less so in the future. But Aviva, great to have you here. And sprouting, Mrs. M's into that, but it can go a bit moldy here in this climate in Portugal, we've noticed, and with the mold inside the house. In Portugal, I will be growing roses, says Suzanne, herbs, and maybe some citrus and figs in pots. I've grown these trees in pots in various places. They'll do better in Portugal. Should be fine with all of those in pots, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, great. All right.
The bigger the pot, the better the fruit trees do. Just
all right.
Not too small.
John, this is for you to read out, I think.
The gardening show, never a dull moment. Very good.
Ouch. Gilchrist is here as well. Hello. Lee, what's the best method to get rid of scale insect off your plums? Is that a serious question? You can practically...
If you've got any issue with your plum tree, you should have dealt with it a few weeks ago with a copper-based insecticide.
Okay.
I think he's being a bit silly. But there are products on the market like neem oil that you should be treating your trees with regular to stop any fungus or insect issues. Okay.
Pete, I'm not going to read any more of your messages out. Or am I? I don't know. Good evening, everyone. Andy and Pete, you can practically hear the lushness grow after the rain. Yes, there's something about the time before the rain, isn't there? There's obviously something about when it's peeing down, and there's the time afterwards. These are special moments to savor, aren't they?
I was stuck in traffic today on the way out the city, going to work.
Yeah.
And the hill at the side of Monsanto was just bright green. There was lots of different shades green, but they were all lush and fresh, and it looked really nice.
Yeah, amazing. Monsanto, the huge park on the edge of... Ironically, on this, again, more irony in the gardening show, Monsanto being the great big park and not the great big...
chemical industry. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, my first school had a farm attached. Lunchtime donkey rides, feeding lambs was a good first school. That sounds amazing. Where was that? Blackpool or Weston-super-Mare or somewhere like that? Pete Bleach, I've never loved rain very much, but I would love to have 2 weeks at least of wet weather. It hasn't rained a full day here on northern coastal California in years. That's pretty scary, isn't it? We are on a soil regeneration process here. It is the driver in everything we do. Good veg is a byproduct of great soil. Okay, so let's do that thing now. A quick hello to Martin Jeffs. I live in central Portugal, in eucalyptus. What? And he got cut off there. Oh, eucalyptus. I have some land next to a river from the Serra, so always water. In some years, the land is clearly flooded. This year, nowhere near. So another sign there of the dryness. What food trees can I plant that would tolerate an occasional flash flood? Great question. Let's do that. We'll go to soil after that.
Yeah, I'd be tempted to go for some of the nut trees, some of the the taller berry bushes. They do quite well because it won't affect them at all. There's loads you can do, but just get something with a deep root base. The oranges and lemons won't do badly if it's not too much. If it's not underground for too long, the water's not on the surface for too long. But floodplains are a great place to grow veg, because the water comes in and it leaves a deposit of healthy minerals and nutrients.
Yes.
So find your window of opportunity to use that ground for growing veg on. It'll be the best ground in Portugal.
Yes, it's true, isn't it? I noticed that back from the Silver Coast here. There's a flat plain where there's sort of been geological shifts, and the flat plain back from the seafront before you get to the mountains. People love growing there, and it looks like incredible soil, and it's clearly very fertile with all that's grown there. Okay, talking of fertility, soil, we're in a soil emergency. Let Sadhguru talk to us about that.
We are talking about climate change, carbon emissions, and global warming and various other aspects, but we are not addressing soil. Soil is the habitat upon which zillions of lives thrive. Once there is no richness in soil, then you have forsaken the planet in many ways. Every responsible scientist in the world and the UN agencies are clearly saying we have only 80 to 100 harvests left. That means approximately 45 to 50 years of agricultural soil left on the planet. By 2045, we will be producing 40% less food than what we are producing right now, and our populations will be 9.3 billion people. The food shortages that could manifest in the next 25 years, the consequences of that is unimaginable. Civil wars will unfold across the world once there is food shortage. What we are facing now is soil extinction. Why is soil becoming extinct? Where is it going away? What is happening to our soil? We must understand, if you add organic content to sand, sand will turn into soil. If you remove all organic content from the soil, soil will become sand. In normal agricultural soil, the minimum organic content should be between 3 to 6%. The most minimum is 3%. At least this minimum to keep the soil alive, to keep the soil as living soil is a must. Agricultural soils across the world, the depletion is so heavy, in most countries, more than 50% of the topsoil is already gone in the last 100 years. The nutrient levels have dropped significantly. The level of micronutrients you would get from your food in early 20th century to what you are getting from the same food now has dropped 90%. If you ate one orange in 1920s, what you got from it, now in 2020, if you have to get the same, you will have to eat 8 oranges. This is what we have done to our food.
Soil is the biggest ecosystem on the planet, and so few people know anything about it. 1 teaspoon of healthy soil probably contains more microbes than there are people on Earth.
The microbial life in the first 12 to 15 inches of topsoil is the basis of our existence. It is this magic beneath our feet which has produced the life that we are. This first 12 to 15 inches of soil is the basis of life for 87% of life on this planet, including you and me.
We have to begin to recognize that what we call our soil, Mother Earth, is a living organism.
Open soils, ripped open by plowing, open to sunlight, is the basis of destruction of microbial life. So the focus should be on agriculture, the focus should be on seeing that land is under shade as much as possible. Some kind of shade, grasses, herbs, bushes, trees. Conscious Planet is launching Save Soil movement to bring about a policy change to regenerate soil. As a part of this, I'm 65 and I'm riding 30,000 kilometers, a lone motorcycle journey, 30,000 kilometers across 24 nations to activate support from the citizenry to assure the governments long-term investments will be appreciated. So it's extremely important that soil regeneration is enshrined in the policy of every government on the planet. We must change the narrative on the planet that soil is a wealth, a legacy we have received from previous generations, and we have to pass it on as living soil for future generations. We are in a cusp of time. If you do the right things now, in the next 15 to 25 years, we can significantly turn this situation around and regenerate the soil. But if we allow this to progress like this for another 30 to 40 years, after 40 years if we attempt this, then it could take 150 to 200 years because that much loss of biodiversity would have happened. From 21st of March for 100 days, the whole world, every human being on the planet should talk soil. We must hear the word soil, save soil everywhere to see that the narrative on the planet changes towards the most vital aspect of our life, the soil. Each one of you should reach as many people as you can to make this happen. Many global leaders and influencers are already participating in the movement. Be a part of this and let us make it happen.
From my part, as much as I can contribute.
We're going to save the soil. Do your part.
And saving the soils.
Our future, our children's future, and our planet's future depend on it.
Save the soil.
We know what we must do, so let's make it happen.
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 Folks, what do you think of that? I find that so moving.
Yeah, that's pretty damn cool. Yeah, wow.
Launched today. We're bang on trend. It launched today, and I think even if you like, who was it? Suzanne saying just a few pots of herbs. You can do your bit, even if you've got a few pots of herbs. You can still be composting and making a little bit of soil. If everyone does a little bit, it's going to be amazing for all the reasons I don't need to go over them again. What do you think of that, Lee?
I saw him on Joe Rogan last week.
Yeah.
And it's nothing new. Governments have been talking about it for the last 10 years.
Yes.
Farmers have been doing it in the UK for the last 10 years. The future of agriculture is not in growing in fields anymore. The future in agriculture will be in warehouses growing under UV lights and growing hydroponically. They're missing a trick. They're missing a trick. What they should be saying is, let's rewild the farm fields and move the farms into warehouses and feed and do it hydroponically.
Wow.
Saving less water, less waste of water, less waste of nutrients, and more open ground for the carbon sumps. Because that's what we actually should be considering, is the carbon sumps. And if we can turn farm fields into woodland, then why not? I think they're missing a trick. And he doesn't convince me himself. So
yeah, you're not. I mean, he's a bit of a Marmite character for sure. Having posted up something with him in it this morning, he's really wound people up. But that's gurus for you, I think. So carbon sumps, tell us about that. What does that mean? Is this locking carbon in rather than ploughing it up and releasing it into the atmosphere?
Yeah, if you've got open ground where you're growing rice or lettuce leaves, unless you're going to plough the waste back into the soil every time, like I do with my green waste, all my green waste doesn't get removed from my veg plot; it just gets ploughed back in and ploughed back in. I've turned sand. I've done what you just said. I've turned sand into soil in 3 seasons. It's not rocket science. It's not new. We've been doing it. Proper gardeners have been doing it for a long time. And so are farmers. Farmers. And it's more like the way you plough your fields, going across the hill instead of up and down it. There's loads of techniques that every good farmer already knows. We don't need a guru to explain it to us. But over the last 7 years, agriculture is moving from the mass land usage into brownfield sites where they're growing more indoors. I'll find some images and show you the photographs of Manchester alone. It's amazing. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. Yeah.
But presumably, it's not a bad shout. John, what go on over there in Devon?
I kind of feel the same as Lee. It feels a bit sort of, I don't know. I mean, it's a cool idea and everything, but I think there's other ways that, like you say, are already being done.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know.
It's 10
And
years
also,
behind. We were talking.
I would quite like to know what means of fuel his motorbike is being powered by. Is it being powered by a renewable fuel? Is it an electric motor, or is it fossil fuels and petrol?
Being driven by the hot air that has been shouting for the last 5 years. Driven by hot air power that comes out of his gob.
Well, that's okay. That's sustainable, isn't it?
Sustainable, because he'll keep talking as long as people listen. The UK government have been talking about retaining soil and developing soils, like I said, for a minimum of the last 10 years, and making great strides towards it, using less nitrates, putting less chemicals on the ground. But yeah, I think more rewilding and less farming in the great outdoors is what's needed. Yeah.
Andrew thought that wasn't a gas bike. It was. People are so cynical, aren't they? Honestly. But anyway, if he manages, I mean, presumably it remains to be seen. If he manages to have people take action, which is, I think, is part of the plan. I don't think he claims to have any new ideas there. It's just that we haven't taken the action that might be needed, right?
If you look at the development that's already happened in Ethiopia, where they're growing a massive forest line all the way across Africa, that's been going on for several years.
We've got to showcase that. Let's showcase it then. Let's let people know. That would be great news.
There's already massive projects that have been going on. And I don't know, when I listened to him and he described himself as a guru and a visionary, and what else was the other one he'd called, I just thought, yeah, another con man. It's not going to go anywhere. He's not going to convince me.
Anna says there's 2 more questions, so sorry to interrupt.
I'm having my guru rant. Sorry.
Yeah, you see a bit of a guru bashing going on there. So, John, understand if you have to go. A couple of questions coming in from Anna.
Yeah, we've got a request. Need to learn sprouting and plan window box garden. That was a question from if you're in New Mexico, I think. And we also had a question from Peter. That was I don't know if this is pronounced Phalis or Phallus. I'm not too sure.
That's Pete, isn't it? With his phallus impudicus. I think we're going to leave that for the man cave on Pete's particular question.
Yeah.
What was the first one, Anna?
The first one was need to learn sprouting and plan window box garden.
Oh, that was, I think that might have been Aviva, mightn't it? That we covered in some way. But what have you got to say about sprouting, Lee? Because that's a very close to home, instant way of producing food, isn't it?
Oh, there's loads of great YouTube videos for it. I was watching one just the other day with a guy that cut the top off a pineapple and had potted it on, and it was producing a new pineapple. I quite like the idea. I never got into it. I've not something I've done myself, but yeah, there's loads of
it's so nice. Yeah, it's so nice, isn't it? There are endless ways to engage in the way that you is best for your circumstances, ability, and inclinations.
The other good one is to put half a tomato into a tomato, but you don't need to go out and buy tomato seeds. You don't need to go to all the effort. Just put half your tomato left over in a tub of compost and let it shoot. You know, and it's so easy. It's so straightforward. The other one that I like is celery, where you can do the same with celery. When you just got the base of the celery sticks that you bought, if you put that in water for a few days, it'll send out new roots and it'll send out new shoots, and that can be potted on a window ledge for no cost at all, with no effort.
Amazing. I mean, let's face it, it's a miracle, isn't it? But I don't want to go all guru on you. When I go for a walk through the forest near me, they are oaks, and the leaf litter makes beautiful soil, doesn't it just? And obviously, a very little intervention from human beings. I might go up with a trailer and get a few loads for the compost. Why not take a handful of leaf mulch back home?
You've got to be careful, because in some places that's illegal.
That's true, isn't it? Pine cones, even. You can't take pine cones at certain times of year, can you?
Certain times of year, it's illegal to retrieve pine cones as well, yeah.
All right, well,
leaf mold is traditionally the best compost that you can have. You know,
we pick some up. Yeah, we picked some up. Mrs. M, we were in a picnic area with the kids, and she got the shop bags for life out the back of the car, filled 3 of them up with leaf mold that was just underneath the slide. the climbing equipment. It helped the council not have to clear it up, and we've taken it home, and it's in the mix now back here. Did want to show a few pictures, but we've run out of time, sadly. Thank you for all. Wasn't that amazing? I think it's safe to say that we have a little bit of work to do in looking after our planet, whichever way you look at it, and whichever access you prefer. Guru Gilchrist says compost everything. Everyone's a guru here, aren't they? Compost everything possible, and I think you can sign up with a tax deductible contribution to Guru Gilchrist new Church of the Garden, which is happening in Lisbon somewhere. Gary, locals near us sweep up pine mulch, leave it to rot for 3 months. That's the way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Nunu had sent in some pictures of his weekend doing some scouting out and about in the forest and making pine needle tea. How about that? Which is thoroughly health giving, not just for the compost, but for the human body, apparently. But seek medical advice. Don't do that without correct supervision and correct identification of things. Sorry, we'll have to carry all the pictures over that came in because we're 2 minutes past 7. Final word from you, I think, Lee and Anna and John, if you've got anything to say that we've missed out on. Anna, you first.
Just trying to think. I'm still sort of thinking of ideas for live streams and things. So if anyone's got any, just feel free to send them in. And yes, I'm doing my best to keep up with the questions and everything. So I'll do my best to include names of those who sent in a question for the live stream as well. And I'm trying to remember to upload the Facebook link as well, so the YouTube link. So yes,
you do a great job, Anna. You do a great job. Please, everybody, can you let Anna know what a fantastic job she's doing in the comments and chat? It's really, really, I think, only right to give Anna credit for all the hard work she does, as well as John here as well. John, what have you got to say in the closing moments of the show?
First off, I'll say you do a really great job as well, Anna. Because yes, you do a really great job, and I think I'll just say I can't really think of anything else to say for this show. Because
yes, no, that's fair enough.
Apart from goodbye for the show for this week.
Okay, and I was going to say we're going to talk number 2. Some would say not for the first time, but what about this as a parting shot, so to speak? How about chucking the dog poop in the compost? Is that good or bad? Asked Brian. Last word to you, Lee.
I wouldn't put dog poo in the compost. You can do dog poo compost bins, which is a very different thing.
Yeah,
but not directly. Can I just ask everyone to support Jason's Facebook page?
Yeah, absolutely. You'll learn a lot. You'll learn a lot. Yeah. Just by liking Quinta Essencial, you will learn so much about Portugal, central Portugal, and growing food right there. Okay, thanks, Lee, for that. That's superb. Wear your masks, I suppose, when you're chucking dog poo about. Is that what he's talking about? John, great job too. Well done, John. Agree with you on the guru. And thank you, Anna. We love you, Anna, says Garvo there. Anna, you're doing brilliantly from Pete Bleach, especially with the Latin names. Great job, everybody. We'll see you again next week. Sorry if we've missed anything. We'll carry your pictures forward. Ciao, ciao. Oh, hold on.